Alrighty, welcome back to another living card game live stream. Today we have a special stream. We have Elli on today to teach us his game, show us Worldbreakers. How are you doing, Elli?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to show us your game. It looks awesome. I'm really excited to dive into it, and thanks for taking the time to teach it to me and teach it to everyone who's watching. So I'm excited to try it out. I'm hoping I win, but I don't know. I'm not quite confident on that. I'm still learning the rules, and I am playing the designer.
Yeah,
Hey, Starry, how you doing?
and one of the big things about Worldbreakers is that it's supposed to be approachable. We were just talking about how the rules are relatively straightforward. I think that in the living card game space, it's relatively on the simpler side, especially when compared to heavy hitters like Netrunner and Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's supposed to be accessible while still being complex and leading to some interesting interactions between players.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting just from reading the rules, watching a rules video, which the rules video was awesome. Was that like I don't know if you did that or if you had someone put that together, but kudos to whoever did that because it was a very good, well explained rules video. And like what I was saying is like I'm really I like these types of games that are not complex in rule set. It's I mean like this your basic actions over here, which let me see if I can pull this up, is pretty easy and it's whatever you can do. It's hey Seabass, thanks for the follow. Whatever whatever you can do is right here on this basic action. And then all the complexity and all of the strategic value comes in with the cards, which is I think perfect. You can sit down with someone and just, start playing, which is great.
Right. And I had a few instances by now where I started explaining the rules to someone and they stopped me and said, okay, I got it. I played enough games of this type that I can see what you're doing here. Let's just play the game.
Yeah.
And it's nice that it works out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about this game before we dive into it. What's the theme? What's the setting? What's going on?
Sure. So Worldbreakers is set in an alternate 13th century history. And in particular, it's set in Mongolia and Persia and Asia, the kind of places that we rarely see in modern board games and card games. And thematically, humanity discovered this resource called Mythium that has become sort of like the currency of the game. And through Mythium, people unlock all these special powers within them. And this is how history diverged from what happened in our world to the Worldbreakers world. And each one of the players plays one of these Worldbreakers. Right now, the board is set up so that you're playing Marco Polo, which is based on the historical character, the Venetian trader from that period.
Okay.
And I am playing Cthulhu, who is a bona fide historical warrior princess. She's one of the great descendants. She's one of the descendants of the great Genghis Khan, and she was a notable political figure in the Mongol Empire at the time.
Very cool. Yeah, the game is rich in theme as well, right? Like when I was watching the rules video, reading the rules, and I'm a huge fantasy nerd lover, books, movies, TV shows, and like I just felt like it almost felt like you had built like a whole world in along with this game, and it's like I want to read this story too. So
So one of the I really enjoy this process because I didn't need to build that much. Apparently, there is a lot of history
oh
out
okay,
there.
yeah.
So
Who knew?
many of the many of the ideas just fit well with the history of our world. And I did spice it up. I did add fictional elements,
Yeah,
and there are some fantasy tropes thrown into the mix. But many of the characters, many of the places are just real stuff from our world.
that's awesome. We got a comment. Josh says the cards look amazing. So nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All of the cards are illustrated. Um, the tabletop simulator version is a bit out of date, so it's almost all of the cards. But when the game is launched on Kickstarter, on March 1st, everything is going to be illustrated. So you were welcome to hop on Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia, try the game yourself, and enjoy the art, which is a big part of card games for me.
Yeah, it is incredible art. So March 1st, that's coming up soon. That's really soon.
Yeah, just around the corner.
Just around the corner. Are you excited?
I am pretty excited, yes.
Good.
And gaining traction and reaching out to streamers such as yourself, getting the word out there, and hearing some really positive reviews from people who try the game, which to me is the part I enjoy the most.
Good. Excellent. Well, let's hop into it. Let's do a quick Infinite Nutshell. How you doing? The Nerdy Steve, how you doing? Thanks for hopping on. So let's do an overview of how we play this game. So I think I understand, but it's going to help me if I am able to ask some questions. So you want to give us a quick overview on how we play Worldbreakers?
Yes, certainly. And as I mentioned, the game is on Tabletop Simulator. And as you pointed out, there's a how to play video on YouTube. So if anyone in the audience is missing anything, just go there and you can catch up. So Worldbreakers is a two-player card game. And our goal during the game is to be the first to reach 10 power. So power is the points in this game, and it's represented by these counters. There's two ways in which you can gain power. So the first one is through these special cards called locations. And these cards are in your deck. You draw them to your hand, you play them to the board, and during the course of the game, you're going to have a chance to develop them. When you develop a location, you're going to trigger one of the different stages on it. So Solomon's Throne, the one I put on your table, has 3 different stages that will give you 2 power, and 1 power, respectively. So that's one way. You play these locations, you develop them for power. The other way is to attack your opponent. So, like many other card games, in Worldbreakers, you can play followers onto your board. And one of the actions you can take is to attack your opponent. After you attack, your opponent gets to block. Any follower that was not blocked by your opponent is going to gain you 1 power. So conceptually, there's 2 different tracks to victory. You can either build up locations, or you can attack your opponent, or you can mix and match the both of them.
Very cool.
Over the course of the game, players manage 2 different types of resources. The first one is called Mythium, and it's these blue crystals. Each player starts with 5 of them, and they're the game currency. So every card has a Mythium cost in the top left. You play the card, you pay that cost. The second type of resource is called standing. The world of Worldbreakers have 4 different guilds, and standing represents the access that you have to their technology, to their people. So you are playing Marco Polo, and you start with 1 standing of the Stars Guild. I'm playing Cthulhu, and I'm starting with 1 Earth standing. And each card, many cards, are going to have standing requirements in the top left. So, for example, the Skillful Bruiser has a requirement of 1 standing. And here's another example. The Kund Cavalry, they have a requirement of 3 standing. In
Interesting.
order to play a card, you have to match the standing requirement. So the standing is not wasted. You just need to have enough to play the card.
So it's not a spent resource. It's a level. You've gotten there. You've built the relationships with that clan so that you have the ability to hire the cavalry now.
Exactly.
Cool. Very
So
cool.
it's like a leveling mechanic.
Great.
The game is played over rounds, and every round, each of us is going to get 4 turns. The interesting part is that we're going to alternate. So you're going to take a turn, then I will take a turn, you will take a turn again, and so on and so forth until each of us got our 4 turns. At the end of the round, there's going to be a rally phase, which is a bit like cleanup, and then we're going to flip this. So whomever was first is now second, and vice
Very cool.
versa.
Very cool.
and we're going to keep going until someone wins. As you pointed out, during a turn, you can take one action, and we have this reminder sheet here that tells you what are the different actions you can take. So one thing you can do is you can gain one Mythium. So you can always move this token 1 and add one Mythium to your board. Another thing you can do is you can always draw a card. So at any point, you can take the top card of your deck and draw it just by spending an action. If anyone in the crowd played Netrunner, these would be super familiar. And likewise for Arkham Horror, 2 games that follow this mechanic. The third thing you can do with an action is to gain a standing. So as an action, you can pay 2 Mythium and gain a standing with any guild of your choice. In this particular matchup, all of your cards are Stars Guild and all of my cards are Earth Guild.
Okay.
So these will be the only standings we're going to gain.
That's great strategy advice.
That's what?
That's great strategy advice. I'd hate to start going into Moon.
Yes.
You don't need to do that.
Don't need
So
to do that.
I
Yes.
appreciate it. Cool. Thanks.
Pre-constructed decks, stick to the basics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Notice that there's many cards in your deck that give you standing, so you might not have to use this action, but it's there. The next thing you can do is to play a card. And to play a card, you just pay the Mythium cost and make sure you match the standing requirement. So for example, to play the Cavalry, I will need 3 Earth standing and 3 Mythium. I've shown one type of cards is the followers. Another type of card is called events. And here's an example. Events are impactful one-time effects. You play them, you resolve them, you discard them. They don't stay on the board.
Gotcha.
And the last type of card you can play are the locations that I mentioned before. And here's one example. This is the Humble Underpass. And location cards have stages on them. In this particular case, the Underpass has 2 stages. As soon as you play a location, you load up the stages with counters.
Okay.
So each stage is going to have a counter. And then they actually don't do anything. They just sit on your board until you take the next type of action called develop. So let's say it's your turn and you have the underpass on the board. As an action, you can develop it and trigger the top stage, removing the counter. So this counter is going to go away and you're going to activate the first stage, which in this case gives you 2 Mythium and 1 power.
Very
Then
cool.
I'm going to do something. It's your turn again. You can develop again. You will gain 2 Mythium and a standing of your choice. And then the location is empty. So it's going to get discarded.
Got it.
One more thing you can do with your turn is to activate action abilities. And for these decks, the only action ability is on Marco Polo himself. So as you play locations, Marco Polo is going to accumulate counters. And as an action, you can spend 2 of them to trigger Marco's ability to seek out a follower in your deck. Seeking out meaning flipping cards from the top until you find a follower.
Cool. Okay.
So it's not a search, it's a more basic effect where you flip cards.
Okay.
And the final thing you can do in a turn is to attack your opponent. So let's talk about combat. And to do that, I'm going to put up some cards on the board just to make things more interesting for the both of us. So I'm going to flip through your deck and find a couple of cards. Whoops. So let's talk about combat. Let's say it's my turn and I want to attack. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up any attacking followers, move them forward, and exhaust them. So I'm attacking you with these 3 followers here. Then you can choose which of your followers are blocking. And you block 1 at a time. Sorry, I forgot to put these counters. And you block 1 at a time. So let's say that the Caravan Guard wants to block the Swift Messenger. You're going to move them forward and exhaust them to indicate the block. And now these followers deal wounds to each other equal to their strength, which is the number in black. So the caravan guard has a strength of 2, and he's going to deal 2 wounds to the messenger. And the messenger has a strength of 1. She's going to deal 1 wound to the caravan guard. Then this block is resolved. Both of these followers move back, and neither one of them is in combat anymore. So you've blocked my swift messenger. She's no longer attacking, and you cannot block her again. Blocking is always 1-to-1.
Okay.
Now you can keep going. So for example, the lowly bard can choose to block the skillful bruiser. And again, they're going to deal wounds to each other. The bard will deal 1 wound, and the bruiser is going to deal 3 wounds. At this point, any follower that has at least as many wounds as health is going to get discarded. So both of them has way too many wounds, and both of them go to the discard pile.
Okay.
So you can keep blocking as much as you want. If I'm attacking and you don't want to block at all, that's allowed. If you want to block with all of your followers, that's also fine. At the end, though, I'm going to have some amount of attackers remaining. And if I have at least 1, then combat is successful. When combat is successful, first of all, I gain 1 power for every follower that got through. So in this case, 1 follower got through, I gain 1 power. However, if both of these got through, I would have gained 2 power.
Got it.
Sadly for me, that's not the case. So I only gain 1 power.
Yeah.
Then I can damage one of your locations. Damaging means removing the top stage counter without triggering the effect.
Oh.
So
Okay.
in this case, I can remove the top counter from your mesmerizing maze, and the top ability is lost. So you cannot gain power, you cannot gain a star standing using the ability. I damaged it and it's gone. Notice that you gain 1 power for every follower that got through, but you only damage a location once.
Okay.
So
Okay.
even if a whole armada is attacking you, I can only damage a location at most once.
Okay. Sounds great.
Furthermore, furthermore, some locations say hidden on them. When a location is hidden, it cannot be damaged. So even if I attack, I cannot hurt it.
Okay.
And that is combat.
Very
At
cool.
the end of the round, we're going to have a rally phase. And during the rally phase, we're going to go through these stages. The first one is to trigger rally abilities. So some cards say rally, colon. This is when we activate them.
Okay.
Then we check for victory. Any player that has at least 10 power and more power than the other wins the game. If we're
Okay.
tied, though, we're going to keep going. So if
Okay.
both of us have 11 points, the game is not done. Furthermore, this is the only stage where we actually check for victory. So if I reach 10 power here, or you reach 10 power here, the game is not over. The other player could catch up.
Got it.
After checking for victory, we ready our followers. We don't remove any wounds, though. Wounds never go away. They just stay on the board. Then both of us gain 2 Mythium, both of us draw a card, and the turn tracker is flipped. So remember, at the end of every round, you're going to get some free stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of every round, you're going to get 2 Mythium and a card.
Okay.
And that's the game. We keep going until someone has at least 10 power at the end of the round, and that person is the winner and reshapes history in their image.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Any questions?
Actually, I don't think so. I mean, like that, and that's what I really like about it is that it's, straightforward. It's easy to understand. That's not the right bag.
Right.
So I'm excited. So, Seabass taught me that I can hold or hit Q or E and flip when I'm zoomed in. So I appreciate that. I'm still kind of a
Yes.
noob when it comes to TTS. And then Infinite Nutshell says that he still can't, or they still can't watch a TTS stream without trying to alt zoom themselves. So no, I get that.
Yes. the TTS interface is very comfortable for looking at cards.
Yeah.
So especially with the locations, which are horizontal, not vertical,
Yeah.
you can zoom in and rotate them. And by the way, I'm super happy Infinite Nutshell is here. Infinite Nutshell is the rules manager for
Oh, great.
Worldbreakers,
Okay. Good.
and they rewrote the rulebook from scratch. They helped with a bunch of design decisions, and I'm super happy to to have them on board. They're also involved with Netrunner.
Okay.
So if you play Netrunner through the Nisi project, Infinite Nutshell is the rules manager for Netrunner.
Very cool. Well, hey Jamie, nice to meet you. And okay, so we have a question from the chat. So Josh is asking. He says he's guessing that the deck building isn't limited to just one faction, since you can choose to gain standing in any faction. Though I'm guessing you wouldn't want to have to spend a lot of actions gaining standing in a bunch of different factions.
Yeah, so they're absolutely right. You can, when you build your deck, you can mix and match factions. Also, a big part of Worldbreakers is playing draft. So once you're done with the precons, you can just shuffle all the cards together, draft versus your opponent, build the decks, and play. And we're seeing 2 faction decks and 3 guild decks, which are pretty cool. It's always a balancing act. Do I want to go for consistency with a less faction, with less guilds, or do I want to go for power with more
Yeah.
guilds? So there's always a mental math to be
Yeah.
done there.
Absolutely. And so are you ever limited? Can you go all four if you want to just be crazy, or do you not recommend that?
I wouldn't recommend it because when you choose a wall breaker, an identity, they give you a particular faction, a
Okay.
particular standing with a guild.
Yeah.
So typically you want to have a sizable number of cards in your deck from that guild just to make sure you can play them. You're going to see it when we start playing. The game is very tempo focused,
Okay.
and it's a very rapid tug of war between the two of us. Spending too much time just building infrastructure might leave you too far behind.
Yep.
So I haven't seen any successful for guild decks. I think Jamie is going to try and prove me wrong
Okay.
because they mentioned that they're curious about that. I did see 3 faction decks come up in draft as well.
Cool.
So it's worth experimenting with.
Yeah. Awesome. Josh is very excited about the drafting. So.
Yes, I love cube drafting, and one of the design goals for Worldbreakers is that you can cube draft out of the box. So you just literally take all the cards, shuffle them together, and you're drafting versus another player.
That's great. That's also what Seabass is most excited for. So.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So let's see who goes first with these handy d20s.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
19.
You are definitely going first. So to start the game, draw 5 cards. And I know it's the first game, so you might not want to mulligan. But if you do want to mulligan, then I think you got 6 there. Yes.
Yeah.
Is the tabletop simulator interface backstabbing
Yep.
you?
Yep. It definitely is.
So if you want to mulligan, after you draw your initial 5, take any number of cards, set them aside face down, draw replacements, and shuffle them into the deck. So for example, I'm going to put back 2 cards. I'm going to draw 2 replacement cards and reshuffle these back into the deck. It's up to you if you want to do it. If you have any 3 standing cards, you probably want to put them back. It's a bit too early for them.
Yeah. So, what is a stationary counter?
So stationary means that a follower cannot attack. And
Okay.
when you place a stationary counter, you place one of these counters on one of my followers. And now that follower cannot attack for the
Okay.
remainder of the game.
Because I read stationary on Surprise, one of my other cards, and I was like, that doesn't seem good to put that on there.
So it's great when you put them on my
Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
And just to give you some more theme, you're playing Marco Polo, and your goal is to escape to Europe to let Italy know that the Mongol horde is coming. And you're probably more defensive. You're going to be more defensive about it. You're going to play
Okay.
defenders and you're going to play locations, and that's how you're going to gain your power. On my end, I'm playing Kutulun, the Mongolian warrior princess, and I am chasing Marco Polo because you stole some artifacts from China.
Yeah, that's a point.
And I would like to catch you before you run away. And I'm going to play followers that are going to attack. So most of my power is going to come from attacking. Most of your power is going to come from locations.
Okay, sounds good. So we each get 4 turns, and we'll check to see if who has won. But we're probably not going to do that in the first round. And I've been told by Infinite Nutshell that I have a pretty good starting hand, so I'm just not going to mulligan.
I'm not going to look, but
yeah.
Yes. Jamie is pretty experienced with the game by now, so you can trust him. And yeah, Jamie, quarterbacking is encouraged.
I will forever not hit the right rotation. It will always be, if I want to rotate left, I will always rotate right, and if I want to rotate right, I will always rotate left. There is no changing that. It will always be. Okay, so let me just read this real quick. So Marco Polo, robed in silk. So as a response, whenever I play a location, I put a stage counter on Marco Polo. And then I can remove 2 stage counters to seek out, which is discarding the top cards. And they're discarded?
You set them aside until you find the follower. You keep the follower and you reshuffle the rest.
Okay. And then...
So they don't get discarded, just set aside.
Okay, and then I play it. Do I pay the cost at that point?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Sounds good. And I'm just going to look at yours. So any attack, 1 attacking follower gets +1 strength for this combat. Okay.
Which we're going to represent with this handy-dandy counter.
Ah, the big one. Yes. Okay, sounds good.
Just to clarify, the physical counter is hexagonal, but Tabletop Simulator doesn't like hexagons. So it's this awkward black rectangle, square. But yes, it's going to be a hexagon.
Nice. Okay. And then... Okay, so let's figure it out. We are going to... And... Okay, I'm going to show you this hand because this is the symbol that I'm not familiar with right here. What is this?
That is a stars standing.
Stars standing. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so I will go ahead and I will put this out. Paying 3. Because I already have 1, and that's the prereq here. So I'm going to put that out. I need some of these counters to go here. And I know that I can at least trigger this one, because you have to play a card and you cannot attack on the same turn. So I know that I'll at least be able to get 1 power, and then maybe you'll take my second one, but just because it's such a back and forth game.
So we streamed with the Metropole Grid this past Sunday, and Andre, one of the streamers, kept saying, "I have time. I can wait with my plans." I would just caution you to be mindful that this is still a card game and weird stuff happens.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. No, that's fair.
So one more thing that happens is that Marco Polo gets one of the staging counters because you play the location.
And what okay. Great.
And if you're done, you can move the counter to my side.
There you go.
And I'm going to play the Earth Guild Executor. He costs 2 Mythium. And when he enters play, I gain a standing with any guild. I will choose the Earth Guild.
The Earth Guild. That makes sense.
And you're up.
Okay, so I've got 2. I'm thinking that I probably don't want to leave myself open for an attack. So we are going to... It's going to take me a couple minutes to figure all of this out.
Take your time.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, just direct them at the audience, and let's see what they say.
Sounds great. So I'm thinking about playing this Caravan Guard. So he can't attack, but he is going to be able to block this guy who's going to be doing 2 damage. This Caravan Guard is going to be hitting back for 2, but then he has 4 health. I can also play him this round, which is nice. because I don't want to. Money is hard to find. We're gonna go ahead and do that, and we'll put the caravan guard kind of right here. I I just want to echo Josh. This artwork is incredible. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And this particular artist is Emilio Rodriguez,
Okay.
who drew for Netrunner and Arkham Horror as well.
Really.
So, oh, and for Lord of the Rings as well.
Okay.
So you probably saw his art on at least one of these games.
Yeah. It's incredible. There's some talented people out there in the world.
Yes. And I'm thankful that they agreed to lend some of their talent to
Yeah.
my little crafts project.
Awesome.
So I'm going to play Call to Arms.
Uh-oh.
And Call to Arms says that I will seek out 2 followers. So I'm going to flip cards until I find 2 followers. Here is one of them. Whoops. And here's the other. And I can play one of them and draw the other. So I am going to play the Chuvado Guru for 3 Methium. The Kalari Adept goes to my hand, and the Call to Arms is discarded. And you're up.
Uh-oh. Now, so I'm just talking out loud. But now I'm looking at this. So if I sustain an attack, I'm losing one of these 2 counters. So I'm either not going to be able to gain a power, but then maybe I want to gain a power and then put a stationary counter on. So maybe, it makes sense for you to let you attack me, knowing that, this top one is going to be toss. This top one is going to be lost, but then I get access to the second one. So that seems pretty cool.
And remember that they're always lost and triggered from top to bottom. So if you attack right now, you're going to lose the top one.
Right. Yep. So Josh says Call to Arms seems really good. So your event card. There's a lot of
yes.
The momentum has shifted, and then Infinite Nutshell says that damaging a location is optional.
Right. So I don't have to damage your location.
Okay. So that's good to know. That's good to know. So,
spoiler alert, I will damage your location.
Yep. And I'm just looking at this. So you've got 2 health here. So if I block, that kills. And then here you got 3 health. That's annoying. Can't be blocked by followers with a strength of 3 or greater. Okay. Good thing I don't have a strength of 3 or greater. If you hit stage 1 and open up Infinite Nutshells, questioning your strategy. They say if you're really gonna open up stage 2 for this if you attack. So I think I am going to I love these decisions are fun. I love the back and forth, right? Where you're making one action, you're making one action back and forth. I think that makes it one flow just so much quicker, but 2 just like those snap decisions are tough. Okay, so I have this guy in my hand. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to give away my strategy.
You don't trust me.
And I need a certain number of influence or standing in stars. So it would be nice to be able to get that standing here. So then Infinite Nutshell says, I guess after watching Andre get so many people shut down on Saturday, I'm a little bit more scared of stationary than is perhaps deserved. That's fair. So I think that I am going to... I have at least one more turn. You have 2, which I'm not a huge fan of. I gain 1 power if I do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate. Is that the correct terminology? Activate or
develop.
Develop. I'm gonna develop here. So I gain 1 power and 1 standing in stars. So these are the power. So right there.
Cool. And if you're done, just slide a token my way.
Yes. Sorry. I will never remember to do
So
that.
I am afraid of stationary counters, which means that I will attack and the +1 is going to go on the executor.
And this is +1 attack.
That's correct. So it still
Okay.
has only 2 health.
So it's only 2 health. Okay.
And
So.
since we were talking about art, if you
Mhm.
zoom in on Earth Guild as Executor, the artist here is Chinzo Rig, and he is a Mongolia-based artist.
Oh,
So
cool.
most of the Mongolian characters were drawn by him.
Very cool.
It was really important for me that a Mongolian person will draw as many of them as possible.
That's awesome. That's excellent. Okay, so I am going to come here, and I'm going to defend here
Okay.
because.
So just as a reminder, if you defend against the Executor, he's going to get discarded because he only has 2 health.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
Thanks.
So
For some
just
reason,
doing
I
it.
was thinking that this gave you 1 health too. So.
No,
Oh,
no,
you're
no.
good.
Just strength. So doing it by the book, I will take 2 wounds, and you will take 3 wounds.
Yep. One.
And then because I have at least as many wounds as health, my follower gets discarded.
Okay.
And your follower is done blocking, so they go
Going
back.
back.
Yep. And now combat is successful. So I will gain 1 power, and I will damage your location. So it loses 1 stationary counter and is depleted. So it's discarded from play. Whoops. Sorry about that. And you're up.
Okay. And so just checking the end. So I'm gonna get 2 Mythium. I'm gonna get to draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still some money. Haha, loses 1 stationary counter is depleted. Yes, but also no. Eli meant stage counter. Okay. And then Istari also comments that the art is phenomenal. So.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, on the stream. I mentioned before, one of the reasons I love card games is the art, and it was important for me to get that quality into Worldbreakers as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab 2 Mythium. That's my.
Okay.
Yep. Or gain 1 Mythium. Sorry.
Okay.
Ooh, it's only one. It's only one. But I think that's fine. That's fine. That's what we're gonna do.
You need to have money to make more money.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the counter because I think you're
Yes.
done,
Thank you. Sorry.
and I will also gain 1 Mythium. And that is
Okay.
the end of the round. And as you pointed out, no one won yet. We're 1-1. We ready our followers. Gain 2 Mythium. One easy way to do it is to just flip the counter because there's 3 on the other side.
Oh,
Or you
no
can take
kidding.
2
Cool.
counters
Okay. Cool.
and draw a card.
Well, that looks
And
fun.
now I will go first. Let me know when you're ready.
That's cool. I'm ready.
Cool. So I'm going to play the Kaleri Adept for 1 Mythium. And when he attacks, I gain 1 Mythium.
Oh, that's really cool. He's a little 1/1 guy.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. And so all of the tokens are like that, or like, the wound and the power tokens are also like that, where it's a 3/1.
Yes.
That's cool. That's really nice. I like that. I like that. Okay, so you're sitting there. I don't love that, so I'm going to spend 3
Mm-hmm.
to play Suave. I'm not known for pronunciation. Can you help me with this word?
Suave Sycophant.
Sycophant. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So
He's
this
a yes
says
man.
he's a yes man. So this says whenever I block, put a stationary counter on the follower this is blocking. So That's also a good reason. Oh, yeah, that's also a good reason why I didn't attack this one, because now I can hopefully, if you attack with that, I can try and stationary it around. So
Right.
cool.
And I think that something that really impressed Jamie in the previous stream is that the polo player got a lot of activations out of the Sycophant, and just
Oh yeah,
all of the
yeah.
back row for the Mongol player was full of stationaries.
That's great. So
Um,
I guess one question. So blocks, is that when does that affect activate before or after damage is dealt?
it activates before,
Okay.
but damage is still dealt because
Damage
the
is still
follower is
dealt.
already dead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. I just
Yes.
if you attack 3 and a 1, I this would die. But if there was 2 of these guys out there, then I could stationary
Yes,
both of them. And okay.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And if you're done, just move
Yep.
the counter back to me.
We're gonna
Thank you.
play multiple more rounds or multiple more turns, and you'll have to remind me every single time. I will
It's
never
okay.
remember.
It's the learning curve on Worldbreakers is very shallow, but this is one thing that requires some attention.
Yes, absolutely.
I will play Guerrilla Migration, and this gives me two options. I can
Whoa.
either make camp or migrate, and I'm going to make camp by paying. Sorry, I'm going to migrate. My bad. So this is going to cost me 1 Mythium, which I'm going to pay, and I'm going to choose the second option. So I'm going to lose one of my Earth Standing for 5 Mythium.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm back to 1 Earth Standing.
Well, I don't like that. Um. Okay. So, and I'm all out of money. That's poor planning on my end. But so gain 1, draw a card, pay 2 Mythium to gain 1 standing, play a card, develop a location, activate an action ability, and attack. Okay, so I am going to gain a Mythium.
Okay.
And yep, thank you. Josh says that he really likes that there's a physical way to tell your opponent that you're done, assuming that it gets remembered. I feel
Yes.
attacked. I'm not gonna lie.
And also, if we're playing physically and we're just going on a lunch break and coming back, you know exactly whose turn it is
Yeah.
and what they're doing next.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward in that regard.
Awesome.
I will draw a card. Cards are good.
Whew. Okay, cool. um, I'm also going to, well, not also. I'm going to grab another Mythium and
Okay.
your go.
I will attack with the Guru, and she's going to get +1 strength. So she has 4 strength and 3 health.
Ah, okay. I didn't think about that you didn't have to attack with everybody, that you can attack only using one, or you can choose how many you're attacking with. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, the Adept is happy to chill at the moment.
And because of this, that means that you get to activate your +1 both times.
Yes.
You attack. Smart. Got it. Okay. Well, that's gonna kill my yes man. But I think it's worth doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite Nutshell, please yell at me if I'm making a huge blunder here. But we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna place a stationary counter on this crazy warrior.
Yep. So the Guru has chosen the ways of peace, and the Sycophant is taking 4 wounds. So that was combat for me. You're up.
So Josh says attacked. He prefers encouraged. And Infinite Nutshell says that it was a reasonable play either way. So
I think so, yes.
okay. So I'm looking at this. I'm thinking that this may be kind of fun to do. I'm showing the people on the stream, not you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's You know what? Let's just do it. We're gonna spend 2 Mythium,
Uh-huh.
and we're gonna drop this out. I'm always
Oh,
gonna
nice.
rotate the wrong way. So this is the humble underpass. So I get to place this here, and
Mm-hmm.
then I get a second counter here, right?
Yes. Your timing in that is perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Rally phase. Nobody wins.
It was
Ready our
close.
followers. Yes. Gain 2 medium and draw a card. And for the kids back at home, just remember at the end of every round, get some free stuff.
Yeah. Whoa. I am like really glad I didn't go through these cards beforehand because I would have such analysis paralysis trying to think about what I'm gonna draw.
Yes, it's
It's
a
it
it's a handful.
yeah, it's definitely just fun reading these because these are really cool. They're all like super unique too. Oh man, this is cool. Okay, that's fun. I like this playstyle, Marco Polo's playstyle. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really fun. I think that's really fun. So I think my play here is to develop this guy. So I get
Okay.
2 Mythium, one,
Mm-hmm.
2, and 1 power. 2.
That works.
And so Infinite Nutshell said that I'm on the wheel now. I assume that means because I'm taking back-to-back turns. Is that the terminology?
Yes.
That's the insider lingo. Sweet.
Yes. I think it's the insider lingo since yesterday
Okay.
when Jamie started using it. But
I like
yes,
it.
if
I like
if you
it.
take if you take a turn, flip and take a turn, you're on the wheel.
Love it.
And when you're done, you can pass the counter.
I remembered
Yeah.
once last round.
Oh yeah, you're doing a great job. I'm going to attack with the Adept, which will give me 1 Mythium.
Oh, cool. Okay. Hmm. I'm going to definitely defend because I
Okay.
kind of want to not lose this because that's 2 whole Mythium.
So these two are both defeated.
Yep.
And you are next.
So if anyone is watching and wants to play, I'll put a link in the Discord to the TTS mod. So
Mm-hmm.
we should definitely play some because
Yeah.
this is fun.
And
This is fun.
I'm going to quickly. Oh, I'm not logged into Twitch, so I cannot post. But Jamie, could you copy and paste the Worldbreakers website? Just worldbreakersgame.com.
There it is. It's in there. Great.
Awesome.
I want to play this, but I'm not going to be able to get the whole benefit of it, and so that's a hmm. Math. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to develop here. So
Mm-hmm.
that gives me 2 Mythium and 1 standing with any guild. I'm going to get 1 here on stars, and nope, I'm going to use the handy dandy upside down. And then this is done.
Yep.
And I'm remembering this time.
I'm going to play the Skillful Bruiser for 2 Mythium. And she has
Overwhelm.
Overwhelm, which
Uh-oh.
means that if I attack and she defeats a follower, I gain 1 power.
Okay. Well, I don't love that. But I am going to spend 1 Mythium to play Burst of Creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So seek out a follower and a location, and then I can play either of these or both of these cards by paying its all cost. So do I have to play at least one of them?
No,
No,
you
I
don't.
may. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, so
So here's the follower.
oh, he looks crazy. Remove from combat an attacking follower other than the follower. This is blocking. That's cool. That's really cool. And then, nope. Here
Here's
we
the
go.
location.
What is that? So location to mine. Oh, that art is amazing. That's incredible. I love that. So gain 1 power, draw 1 card, and gain 1 standing with any guild. Gain 2 power, and that costs 4. Wow. And then this gets shuffled back in.
Yep.
Correct? So we'll shuffle that guy. I think I'm shuffling.
Something weird happened.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening.
Huh. Oh, because there is a counter here. That's so funny.
Okay. Don't know where that
Okay.
came from. Okay. So I am going to pay 3 Mythium
Mm-hmm.
to put this guy out. This comes here, and then I get to draw this into my hand, right?
Yep.
Great.
And this particular guy is a girl. It's a she.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yep. Yep.
When in doubt, almost all the characters are women. So
Okay.
you can just gamble on that.
Got it. Okay.
That was a heck of a turn.
Thank you. Yep.
And if
Thank
you're
you.
done,
Yep.
I will respond in kind by playing the Mongol Quartermaster for 5 Mythium. And when he enters play, I can either gain an Earth Standing or spend an Earth Standing for an effect. I'm going to choose to gain an Earth Standing.
Okay. Cool. And so Infinite Nutshell posted your Discord as well. And
Oh, great. Thanks, Jamie.
He said, or they said, fun fact: by some metrics, you still. I just played the most complicated card in the entire set, so that's kind of fun. That's exciting. And then just wrote a long email today about all the weird things that it can do in corner cases. Nice. That's exciting.
Yes. Jamie promised me a long email, so I'm keen to read it. Both of us are a bit of a role junkies, so we enjoy debating all of these corner cases that can lead to interesting situations.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Just try and break the game.
Yes.
He's a 5. He hits very hard. He got some beefy attackers. Alrighty. So I am going to spend 2 Mythium to play the Lowly Bard. So gain 1 Mythium for each standing you have across all guilds. Is that 3 or do I gain 1?
You gain 3.
That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, so 3 Mythium.
That's correct. And if you're done, just move this back to me.
I'll remember at some point.
And, I'm just going to attack with both of them and see what happens. And the +1 is going to go to the Bruiser. Remember that if she defeats a follower, I still gain 1 power.
Ooh. Okay. So I am going to come in here and block with her.
Okay.
And I'm blocking here, which will remove her from combat.
Okay. So she's removed. And these 2 trade. Yep. You take 5, I take 4. Both of them are defeated.
Okay.
And that is the end of the round. So, ready your followers?
All the fun stuff comes. Good, all the free stuff.
Free stuff. Gain 2 Mythium. And draw a card. It is nice to get all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, since I'm going first right now, I'm actually going to slow down, build up my economy, all that stuff. Not really. I'm just going to attack.
um,
She does have only 1 health. So if you block with the bard, they trade. But I gain 1 power.
yeah, so you're getting a power no matter what here.
Yes.
I am going to not block
Okay.
because I'd rather block later when I have a location out here.
I was hoping you're gonna say that.
Okay, so I'm at 5. Sorry, nice strategy. I'm going to build up and attack.
Yes.
Surprise. Caught me off guard. Caught me off guard there. Okay.
I am generally an aggressive player when it comes to card games, so I'm really loving the Mongol deck. It just lets me do what I enjoy doing.
Nice. That star in the top right card you just drew means it's one of Marco Polo's signature cards. Oh, okay. So, the star up in the top, that's cool.
Right. And that's actually helpful for the draft players out there. When you draft your deck, you start with a big pile of cards. You draft with your opponent, and then you pick one of the Worldbreakers. Each Worldbreaker comes with 3 signature cards that only they can play, and you get them whenever you play that Worldbreaker. So even if your draft did not go according to plan, you're guaranteed to get 3 cards that are pretty good and work well together and with your Worldbreaker ability.
That's great. I, I really like the fact that you pick your world breaker after you draft. So you have
Yes.
tactical decisions at that point. You can flex a little bit. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
And you're drafting a
And
card of or a deck of how many cards?
30 cards.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
So usually at the end of the draft, you have something like 45. Then you add 3 from your Worldbreaker, and then you
Mm-hmm.
build a deck of 30. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So even when the draft is over, there's some room for deck building and making decisions and adapting to what you know your opponent has drafted. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I need to read this guy, Marco Polo. Mm, I can seek out a follower card and play it. Okay, so I don't need to do that quite yet. And you said hidden, just in case I had a hidden location. That could not be attacked and removed. Is that what you're saying? Was that what the hidden keyword was?
Right. If a location is hidden, then it cannot be damaged.
Okay. So, that's not the one I wanted to do. Okay, so I am going to spend 4 Mythium.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to play the Weaving Workshop. So it
Mm-hmm.
says when enters, I may play another location card. It costs 2 Mythium less. And so now I'm going to pull in my signature,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Silkworm Terrarium. That's so cool. That's so cool. And this says enters, discard a card, and I can develop a location I control. So I need to put all of these guys out. Thank you
I'm
for
going to help
helping
you
me.
with the counters.
Thank you.
And I'm putting 2 on Marco Polo
And
as
I
well.
get 2 on Marco Polo. Cool. And so I guess Infinite Nutshell says, look at the chaining that's about to happen. So I'm going to develop here, but I guess like a rules clarification. When this says enters, discard a card, and develop a location I control, can I develop this location?
Yes. When you play the Silk Road Terrarium and discard a card, you can develop either the terrarium or any other location you have in play.
Okay. So I'm
In
going to.
this particular case, if you discard a card, I recommend developing the Weaving Workshop.
Yes, absolutely. So I will discard this card, which
Mm-hmm.
will develop the Weaving Workshop. Which, when I develop this, I get 2 Mythium and a power.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to flip, and we're going to put that guy back. And this is going to flip. And I get to develop another location I control. So I'm going to discard this and gain 1 power.
That works.
Love it. That was satisfying.
And if you're done, you can move this my
Yep,
way.
yep. Great. That's stars
So
right there.
I'm gonna play the Pride's Kashyyyk, and she's gonna cost me 2 Mythium. She has 2 strength, 2 health,
Oh,
and
okay.
overwhelm.
Okay. Very cool.
Yes.
Okay, so gain 1 power, develop another location you control. That seems pretty fun. Infinite Nutshell says they've got to run, but you're doing great. I don't need their help. So, um, so thanks for the confidence. I appreciate it. It means a lot. So
You have to win this now. You have to
I
win this for Jamie.
I have to win it for Jamie. Of course, thanks for stopping by Infinite Nutshell. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the advice. Seabass says 6 plays already. So, man, the pressure's mounting. Um, so I'm going to, just because I'm not quite sure, Combo Wombo from Josh. Yes. Just because I'm not quite sure what shenanigans you have, I'm just going to go ahead and develop this Weaving Workshop,
Mm-hmm.
which allows me to gain 1 power and develop another location I control, which is here, the Silkworm, which gains another power. Yep. So that's 6, and both of these are discarded. Just like that.
That works.
You've got 2 health over here.
And if you're done, just move this my way.
I'll okay. By the end of the game, I'll remember it at least once. I promise.
It's okay. I will draw a card.
Okay.
And you're up.
I will also draw a card. Oops, that's not the right button. And look at this. I'm going to remember.
I will gain 1 Mythium.
Okay. I'm going to draw a card.
Okay.
Is there a hand size or a hand limit?
Nope.
Okay.
No limit.
Great.
Relic phase. Nobody wins, although you're pretty close. Definitely closer than you were a second ago.
Yeah.
And we gain 2 Mythium and draw a card. And now this flips, and you go first.
Is there any issue that happens or any negative effect that happens if you run through your deck?
So at the end of the round, when you're supposed to draw a card, if you can't, your opponent gains 1 power.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That happens pretty rarely, but it could happen, especially if your deck is geared towards drawing a lot of cards.
Yes. Okay, well. Huh. Okay, so I am going to spend 2 Mythium. Actually, I'm just going to flip this guy. And put this hidden location into play. So the hidden temple. So the first one, gain 4 Mythium. Second, draw 2 cards, and then draw 1 card and gain 2 Mythium.
That works. And here's a bunch of counters.
Yep, sorry.
No, it's okay. And I'll put 1 on Marco Polo.
Thank you. I also need to remember to activate him at some point.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting decision last round, if you want to develop the last stage or if you want to draw a follower.
Yeah.
I think you've done the right choice, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I am going to play Tatar Pillager. And when he attacks, I gain 2 Mythium.
He cost an arm and a leg. And
you're up.
Remind me, it doesn't matter how many attackers get through, you still gain 1 power. Is that correct?
So you gain 1 power for every attacker that goes through.
But you only damage 1 location.
But you only damage location once. And in this particular case, the hidden temple is hidden. So I won't damage it.
Okay. So. I'm going to use Marco Polo's ability
Mm-hmm.
just because I want to try it. So we're gonna spend 2 and seek. So we've got 1. Nope. We're looking for a follower. Nope. Nope. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, these go back in there though. Okay, here we go. So the blind sculptor. So what is rally?
Rally is the end of the round.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I don't have enough to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna draw it,
Yep.
and these go back on top. Uh-oh. That's
And
fine.
you got really unlucky. That is the
Yeah.
only follower in your deck
No kidding.
that you can't play at this position. So,
Oops. So
um,
Josh says that they love the I go, you go. Being careful not to set up your opponent feels a lot like Seven Wonders Duel in that way, in a good way. So, cool.
yes, that's a good example of a similar game.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm just asking questions. So
Go ahead.
it when this game comes out, you know what cards are coming in the pack, or is it kind of like a TCG where it's a randomized distribution of cards?
This is definitely not a booster pack based model.
Okay, good.
You buy a box. The box has all the cards and it has all the precons. So that's 6 different matchups you can play, each of
Okay,
which is different. It has the draft, which I mentioned. It has constructed and enough cards for 2 players to build their decks.
very cool.
And it has the campaign mode where you play solo and you have a series of 10 games that tell the story of the game and the history of that period.
Well,
So
that's
the goal is
intriguing.
to stuff that box with as
Yeah,
much replayability as possible.
excellent. Very cool. Okay,
Yes.
that's exciting. Looking
And
forward to
with
that.
that, I'm going to attack.
No.
So I'm going to put the +1 on my bruiser. And because I attacked with the pillager, I will gain 2 Mythium.
Again, 2 Mythium. Um, so I've just got this little 1/1 guy here.
Girl.
Istari commented saying, "Did I just hear solo play?" And yes, you did. Josh is
Yes,
also very excited for the solo campaign, so I think 2 people at least just got very excited watching.
So if you like solo play, first of all, go to Tabletopia because the prototype for the solo mode is there. You can play it.
Okay,
And there's going to be a campaign. It's going to be 10 missions, so to speak. And during the campaign, you're going to draft your deck. So as you play the campaign, you build your deck a bit like Hearthstone's campaigns and duke it out versus the automaton, which is surprisingly difficult. I actually just posted a YouTube video where I lose to the automaton.
okay. And Josh is upset that it's coming out so far from now or going on to Kickstarter so far from now on March 1st.
Yes, in the far future.
In the very far future. Okay. So okay, so you're attacking. I'm definitely going to defend here. I'm going to defend I'm going to defend Tartar over here.
Okay. And just a reminder that she has only 1 health.
Yeah, but you're going to get a power no matter what.
Sure. Just remember that as long as she's here, I'm going to get a power no matter what.
That's true. And you're at 2. Okay, I'll take your advice.
Yep.
We'll go over here.
So these 2 are going to trade, and indeed I gain 1 power because of the overwhelm.
Yep.
And then the other 2 followers go through, so I gain 2 more power. I do not damage your location because it is hidden.
Yep.
And you're up.
Okay, I'm going to spend 1 Mythium
Mm-hmm.
to play the Heedless Investor. So if I control a location, I gain 3 Mythium. And you're up.
Yeah. So this is actually a good lesson. If you can gain Mythium, do it before activating Marco Polo's ability, just to make sure that you can play whatever you find.
Yep. Very good call. Very good call.
I will play the Humble Underpass. which is a location that costs 2 Mythium and comes with 2 counters. And you're next.
I'm going to spend 4 Mythium to play the Blind Sculptor.
Yep, that makes sense. And for the last turn of the round, I will develop the Humble Underpass to gain 2 Mythium and 1 power. And now we hit the rally phase, and the first thing we do is to resolve rally abilities.
Okay. So develop a location I control, which is this one right here, which is 4. I read that as 2 for some reason. That seems a lot better.
Yeah, it's money. Money's important.
Yeah, money is important. Turns out I like money.
And then we ready our followers, gain 2 Mythium, and draw a card. And now I'm gonna go first. Not gonna lie, not super happy about what's going on here.
Good.
I will attack with the Tatar Pillager, which will give me 2 Mythium.
Sorry. Doing my math, doing my mental gymnastics.
Oh, I thought you were apologizing for the Helis investor because you're going to throw him under the Mongolian bus.
I think I am. Attack 6. I'm going to let it go through.
Okay, so I gain 1 power. And you are up.
Okay, I'm going to spend 7 Mythium to play the Pit of Despair. So it's a location. For my first, I can gain 2 power, gain 2 Mythium and 1 power, and then draw 2 cards and gain 1 power. So that's a hefty location right there.
And unless I do something, you win at the end of this round. So I should probably do something. And I will pay 3 for a Sparring Brigart.
Oh man, this art. There's a, it's like the watercolor feel. It's incredible. Okay, so I'm going to develop my Pit of Despair to gain 2 power.
Okay.
1, 2.
So I will pay 1 Mythium for a Disillusioned Veteran.
Huh, that's cool. Sorry, I feel like I'm making everyone on stream dizzy with how much I'm rotating these cards, so I apologize.
Oh. Do you still rotate the wrong way each time?
Yeah, every single time, without fail. I will develop this location. So that is 2 Mythium and 1 power.
Yep.
Oh, yep. Thank you.
And I am certainly attacking at this point. And I'm going to put the +1 on the Kashig. Notice that the Braggart says that if I attack with 3 followers, they gain +2 strength.
Oh,
So the
wow.
Braggart
Okay.
is at 5, the Kashig is at 3 strength, and the Veteran is at 2 strength.
Josh asked if I need more encouragement. Okay, so at this point, you have 7 Mythium. So I need to block at least 1. So I'm going to block here. And I'm going to
Okay,
block
so
here.
they trade.
They trade.
Both of them go away.
Okay. Then I'm not going to block.
Okay, so I go up to 9. And I deal 1 damage. So I will damage the Pit of Despair.
It's optional, you know.
It is optional, so I've heard.
You don't have to do that. And then I will attack.
I have a blocker down here.
Oh.
Does this change your block decisions?
Um. I forgot that she was out here.
Let me take my power back and like time walk for a sec to see if you want to change your blocking decision based on this. You don't necessarily want to. I'm just giving you the option.
I don't know if I want to. I think that. Magic Moose Moo, how you doing? Don't forget to flip Blind Sculptor from Alter Ego to Hero Form. Marvel Champions reference there.
Yes.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So you do have a blocker. And man, you're set up. You're set up right here.
And we're here.
You are attacking for 3 here, and like a lot here.
5, yes. So you could block the Kashig and survive.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this because then I get you get -1 power from the net. I get 3 damage, but I also get to activate the rally ability.
And now it's your turn, and then it's going to be rally. So, yeah.
Now it's my turn, and then it's going to be rally. So I am going to develop here. So I get to draw 2 cards.
And now it's the rally phase. So the first thing that happens is rally abilities.
Okay, so I get to develop here. So I draw a card and gain 2 Mythium.
Why do you have so much stuff?
Because all my stuff is in my hand and not on the table like yours.
And nobody wins yet, although it's close. It's 9-8.
It is very close.
We ready our followers, gain 2 Mythium, and draw a card. And you go first.
I'm on the wheel.
You are on the wheel.
I just drew like 9 cards, so I'm trying to read them all.
Yes. That was a very... Oh, yeah, you drew a bunch this turn.
So you have 2 attackers that can come at me, right? Okay. So I am going to... I'm gonna spend 3 Mythium to
Mm-hmm.
play the Star's Apprentice. So
Mm-hmm.
gain 1 standing here. So I go up to 4. And then I can play a location card, paying all its cost, which I will do. I'm going to spend 3 Mythium to play the Submerged Brilliance. And this
Interesting.
needs to come over here. And this goes over here, here, and more tokens onto Marco Polo. Isn't there a blind sculptor in the Marvel universe, the Thing's love interest? Did you do that on purpose, Magic Moose Moo, or is that just the greatest coincidence of all time?
Oh, that one is a coincidence.
That's great.
Interesting. There's so many references and Easter eggs in the game. That one is a coincidence. Like,
That's
if you
excellent.
zoom in on the Stars Apprentice, it's not the final art. But I'm wondering if people figure out her the style of her hair.
Daenerys?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Very, very awesome. Very awesome.
so I will develop the Humble Underpass, and it will give me 2 Mythium and a much needed Earth standing.
Uh-oh.
You are up.
I'm going to develop. Oh, that's not
Mm-hmm.
the right bag. Develop here to draw 2 cards and gain 2 Mythium.
Okay. All done?
These
Oh,
cards are
you're still
crazy.
reading.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Go for it.
Um, hmm. So I know the game. I know there is one card you might have drawn that wins you the game, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just gonna play my cavalry and hope that you didn't draw it.
Uh-oh. Now I just have to make sure that I Khaleesi, Mother of Dragons, first of her name. Yes, Josh. I think. That's great. So just I guess for me, if it says placeholder on the card, that is not final art. If it doesn't, is that final art?
Yes, that's correct.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so I need to think about my life. So you're at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to spend 2 Mythium
Mm-hmm.
to play exploitive extraction. So X
Mm-hmm.
must be less than or equal to your standing in stars. Develop locations you control a total of X times. So I'm going to develop the 2 because I paid 2 for the X. So this gains me a power and standing with any guild. So there's that, which is in 1 power.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 standing with any guild, which is going to be here. And then gain 1 power.
Mm-hmm.
And then this goes by the wayside.
Okay. All done?
Yes.
So give me the counter.
Oh.
I will pay 1 for Emboldened Soldier. And he says that if I have at least 3 standing with 1 guild, he
Oh,
comes with a
cool.
+1/+1 counter.
Very cool. Okay. So I will I will play Proof of the Grotto.
Hmm.
Play a card. It costs one less for each standing you have across all your guilds. So I will play
Nice.
Generous Dealer. So event and location cards you play cost one Mythium less.
I have to say, I'm not super comfortable. Let's see if you make a mistake.
uh,
Because that's my out at this
that's
point.
that's your out. So block here, gain to Mythium. You're
So
attacking
notice
for
that the
a
cavalry
lot.
has overwhelm. And if she defeats a blocker, I gain 1 power.
Okay. So we will. Man, she's got a lot of health.
The
That's kind of
dealer?
fun. Yeah.
Yes.
So we will actually. I don't think that this really matters, but just like strategically. So I'm gonna block here.
Okay, so you
Oh, you're
take
blocking.
6 wounds.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that you played this year. Just kidding. I'm blocking that there.
Okay, so I will take 2 wounds.
And I take one.
+1 because of the +1/+1 counter.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is back here. Then I will block here.
Okay, so they trade.
They trade. Place this over here. And then I will block here.
Daenerys is done.
Daenerys is done.
She did her job.
She did her job.
One of my follower goes through, which means I gain 1 power. And that's the end of the round. And you win. GG,
Excellent.
well done.
Thanks. Astari says the sculptor never saw it coming.
Yes. Well done. So
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
that was the game. Super
That was,
tight, 11-9.
yeah, that was incredibly fun. I really like all aspects of this game. It has enough going on that it's super interesting, but not enough that it's super complicated and like leads to a lot of analysis paralysis. I think the micro turns really help with that, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Love that mechanic. It's great. Um, the the location cards are super unique and super interesting. I really like it. I really like it. So, it good game. This is my first competitive game on stream, so
Oh, it's all been friendly so far? I didn't
it's all been
notice.
friendly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So thank you for showing me this. This was incredible. I mean, from all the art, from everything. I think real quick, we have a few more minutes. If you have some time, can you talk through some of the other world breakers and just kind of give a brief overview of what they do, and then um,
Yeah,
just so we can get
certainly.
an understanding? Yeah.
So just a quick reminder to everyone, go to worldbreakersgame.com and you can join the Discord, you can join the mailing list, you can go to the Kickstarter. All the social media platforms are out there. And now that that is out of the way, the two other world breakers, one of them is called the Muhandasat, and they're a fictional group. They didn't exist in our history. They're a group of engineers, all women, who are building a utopian society in the mountains of Persia. And they're building their version of a utopian society, which personally I agree with, but maybe some people won't. And their thing is that they're a control deck. So they want to get tons of resources and play all these big followers that protect the board. And then they play and develop these huge locations that just have tons of points on them. So Solomon's Throne has 5 points on it. The Indigo Grotto over here has 6 points on it. So just with these
Oh
two
wow.
locations, you can win the game.
Wow.
And they're all about getting all the resources, controlling the board, and then scoring a huge amount of points
Yeah.
in just a couple of rounds. The last Worldbreaker is called Ruknuddin Kurshah, and he's the leader of the Nizari Ismaili. In popular Western culture, they're known as the Order of Assassins. And if you've played Assassin's Creed, um, they are the Order of Assassins from that game.
Cool.
And historically, in our world, he was defeated by the Mongols. But in the history of Worldbreakers, he got access to Mythium, and he's using that to protect his people from invasion. They are assassins. So the way that they work is they send attackers one at a time. For example, they have a mechanic called bloodshed that says that whenever a follower attacks on their own, you can immediately deal one wound. So before your opponent even gets to block, you can deal one wound to an opposing follower.
Very cool.
And they also build off from that. So, for example, another one of them followers says, whenever a follower is defeated, you gain one Mythium. So they're all about playing these assassins, sending them one at a time, and winning via 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
Then, as the game progresses, once your opponent has more of an army and the assassins become less effective, they can switch gears and become a more controlling deck and play these really cool locations that give power and double up as extra attacks to make sure that you can always keep attacking even as you're building location and gaining power.
Yeah. This is really cool. Like stage 2, once you develop it, you get to attack. So it's you're saving actions there too. That's really cool. That's really fun.
Right. And I think they've become pretty much the most popular deck on
Okay.
Discord.
Yeah.
I think people really enjoy playing them. There's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle, and the order in which you play them and you connect them makes the game different every time.
Very cool. I love how unique each one of these world breakers are. That's just incredible. You get
Certainly.
all different
And
types of play
also,
styles, and then when you're drafting or building decks, you can very much customize it, which is just excellent.
yes. And the matchups are also very different. For example, um, when the assassins play against Marco Polo, they can't really they can't slow down because Marco can build locations and develop them very quickly. So they have to be very aggressive. But when the assassin play against the Mongols, they can't really keep up with the cheap followers that the
Right.
Mongols can play.
Right.
So usually versus the Mongols, the assassins are much more defensive,
Mm.
and they're more about controlling the board and playing their own locations. Um, so even when you get the box and you're just playing the pre-constructed decks, you essentially have 6 different games in there because every pair of decks is going to have a different dynamic between them.
Right. Yeah. Plus the solo, plus different ways to play, plus there's a lot of variety in this box. That's excellent. That's awesome.
Right. My thinking is someone's giving me $30 for this. I want them to get a bang for their buck.
This is
And
only going to be $30.
yes, the Kickstarter is going to be for $30.
Wow, that's very affordable.
There's going to be some fun add-ons like playmats and
Yeah.
deck boxes.
Okay.
And if you want everything, all the add-ons, one of the add-ons is a deck doubler that gives you an extra copy of all the cards, and then you can play a 4-player draft.
Cool. Very cool.
So if you want the game and all the add-ons, that's going to be $80, and that's 2 playmats and a deck box and a card doubler, and a whole bunch of stuff you can do with the game.
Yeah. Yep. The story says only $30. That's when he attacks again.
Yes. I think I was a bit too aggressive this game. I think I attacked a bit too much because I was so excited about attacking you that I forfeited too much advantage, and that gave you a window to go up to 11, which was very well played, by the way.
Well, thank you so much. It's like you said right as we started. It's a tug of war,
Yes.
which is just it's a fun balance, right? Like, do I defend? Do I attack? Like, if I don't defend, what are the negative consequences? And then like
Hmm.
you know, you know, much better players than I, or think about when they're playing their locations because they see the attack coming, and then maybe you play location after the attack, so it's not vulnerable to an attack. There's just like a lot of thought process that goes into this, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked. This is exciting.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see the so your last two moves were playing Proof of the Grotto into the dealer. I didn't see that coming. So I thought I had you. I thought we were gonna tie this round,
yeah.
and the next round they just have overwhelming presence on the board. But yeah, you got me there. Well played.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was definitely a fun puzzle to figure out. So
Yes.
excellent.
Thank you for
Well,
the game. Thank you for the opportunity to present it to your followers and to your subscribers.
yeah.
and thank you everyone in chat. One last time, worldbreakersgame.com.
Yep, and we'll throw links in the Discord. We'll throw all of this, um, and then Josh says I'm not called the Living Card Gamer for nothing. So
Yes.
so we'll throw all the links once it hits Kickstarter. We'll definitely make sure that we're promoting it. Just reminding everyone and because it's gonna be exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. Best of luck to you on the Kickstarter, and I look forward to playing some more of this. So
Awesome. Thanks everyone. Have a good night.
thank you. Good night.